Now let's talk about the rivers. Now you know that rivers are surface water bodies characterized by running water. If we look about hydrological cycle, river systems make about 0.0001% of Earth's total water. While this may not seem to be much, rivers drain about 75% of the Earth's land area. Rivers derive its water from rainfall, groundwater seepage, and glacial melts. Large rivers originate in upstream regions of the continents and transport fluxes of water, nutrients, and sediments to the sea. Thus, rivers provide vital linkage between the inland areas. They connect lakes, wetlands, and the oceans. It is because of this, rivers are often referred as the circulatory system of Earth. Most of the rivers deliver their material to the oceans, but there are many rivers which drain the arid regions will never reach to the coastal regions. The water in such rivers lost either due to evaporation or infiltration, and this type of rivers are known as endorheic rivers. Once we talk about the rivers, you may come across many terms like watershed, drainage area, drainage basin, catchment area, catchment basin, and river basin. These terms are used interchangeably to represent a specific land area drained by an individual river or stream. Now let's talk about what is a watershed. A watershed is an area enclosed by a topographic divide in such a way that a surface runoff drained by gravity into a river, lake, or other water body. A watershed collects rainwater into a common outlet. Topography determines where and how water flows. Ridge, known as water divide, determines the boundary of a watershed. The beginning of a water source are called headwaters. The spot where one stream joins other water source are called as confluence. And the end point of the waterways that open into the main body of water is known as mouth. Non-endorheic rivers or exorheic rivers drain into the coastal seas, and the place where a river joins the sea is known as estuary. Now, the river basins can be of different sizes. There are several smaller basins known as sub-basin within a large river basin. A stream flowing in a large river is called tributary to that particular river. Generally, river systems often display a tree-like pattern with many small streams feeding into major tributaries and eventually into one mainstream river. Rivers can be seasonal or perennial. A river basin can be described by a number of characteristics such as catchment size, length of the mainstream river, discharge, sediment load, climate, topography, storage capacity, vegetation, land use, and the extent of human influence. Now let's talk about the discharge of rivers. River discharge or Q is the volume of water flowing through a river channel. This is the total volume of water flowing through a channel at any given point of time and is measured in cubic meter per second. The other units which frequently used to represent the annual flux are kilometer cubic or billion cubic meter. Rivers discharge about 36,000 kilometer cubic of the water to the global coastal oceans annually. Discharge of a river is combined result of multiple factors. It includes basin parameters such as geology, land use and land cover, topography, climate, man-made structures, etc. Discharge of global river is influenced by latitudinal distribution of global precipitation and other parameters. The Amazon is the largest river in terms of catchment area and water discharge. Indian rivers such as Ganges and Brahmaputra are among the largest global rivers. If annual water discharge of a river basin is normalized to its respective catchment area, this formula gives you the detail of this process. The river runoff helps in distinguishing the role of basin area and climate in defining the riverine discharge. The mean global runoff is around 350 mm per year. Based on mean annual runoff, the global rivers can be classified into four major categories. The arid rivers, which having runoff less than 100 mm per year. Then the semi-arid rivers, where the annual runoff is between 100 to 250 mm. The humid rivers, which have runoff between 250 to 750 mm, and the wet or high runoff rivers having more than 750 mm of water discharge per year. The entire quantum of rain received by any catchment does not reach to the river, as a significant proportion of it lost while translating to runoff. The amount of water which did not become runoff can be calculated as percentage water loss through the natural process of infiltration, evaporation, or is being stored for societal consumption. Opposite to percentage water loss, runoff ratio of a river basin represents the proportion of rainfall which finds its way to the oceans. Now let's talk about Indian rivers. India occupies only 2.4% of the total land area of the world. However, it's blessed by several large and coastal rivers. Indian rivers can be broadly classified into the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. There is total 13 rivers having catchment area more than 20,000 square kilometers. The Himalayan rivers such as Ganges, Brahmaputra and Indus are large rivers. Among the peninsular rivers, Brahmani, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Pennar, Kaveri, Tapti, Narmada, Mahi and Sabarmati are large rivers, and there are numerous coastal rivers. However, once we compare the total catchment area drained by the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers, you will be surprised to know that the Himalayan rivers drain only 45% of the land area of country. However, they discharge almost 65% of the annual flux. That means these rivers are characterized by high runoff. So if we talk about runoff numbers, Himalayan basins have runoff about 835 mm per year, whereas the peninsular river, the runoff is around 370 mm per year.